Hello, Steve Arts 89. Yes, I'm wearing this because, I'm probably not going to put this video up. But I just saw an article, and it's the second one I've seen about Charlie Sheen openly talking about having sex with gay men, probably when he was younger. And everyone's celebrating it like, oh, gee, this mainstream actor is, acknowledging his, I guess, bisexuality or something. And the issue comes down to, yeah, but how many of those boys were consensual? Because he was accused, I believe, I hope I'm not wrong and didn't misread this, but he was accused of being the one who sexually assaulted, molested Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. That he was involved in that, and as we all know, Corey Haim is now dead. He didn't really survive being an abuse survivor. So yeah, a lot of people are celebrating Charlie Sheen being open about his sexuality, but how many of these incidents were consensual and something that the other person enjoyed? I'm now curious how that's going to be talked about, what Corey Feldman's going to say about this, and I'm now curious. I know Will Wheaton was also sexually assaulted / molested by people in the industry, but I don't know if they were other actors, older actors the same age, or if they were producers. I think it was a producer that abused him. So I'm just curious because, yeah, so Charlie Sheen's out and everyone's like, oh, that's great. I'm like, is it though? Because who was he fucking? Were they consensual? Were they other, or were they, because you say it was a lot of fun and maybe for you. So yeah, I just sort of found that kind of creepy and kind of interesting. Like at first I was like, oh, and then I'm like, just wait a second. Because I heard this a while ago that, because for a long time they wouldn't talk about who allegedly abused Corey Haim. And it was known that he was abused along with a few other child stars at the time. And someone was saying it was him. I meant to look into it, but I didn't really want to know on some level. And there's sort of been this talk for years, particularly from Corey Haim, about exposing the pedophile ring in Hollywood. But it never really happened, in part because, he doesn't sort of want to end up dead or be sued to oblivion. So I think that's what a lot of these people are powerful. They're producers, people with money and connections, and there's it's just this sort of shady thing that's been talked about for years, and no one's ever really given details. But I did hear somewhere that it was actually Charlie Sheen who was the actual one who abused Corey Haim. But yeah, so I hope I didn't get that wrong. I'm not just talking shit right now, but if I'm wrong, well then I guess it's interesting that he's talking about his bisexuality, or was it just a phase? Like, what was it? Because a lot of people, I mean, Marlon Brando, James Dean, they've all talked about having sex with men, not necessarily being gay, but having sex with men. And a lot of men do have sex with men, and it doesn't mean they're gay, because in some ways they're experimenting, or they are the man in the event, and the other person is the receptive or more like the stereotypical woman in the interaction. So it's interesting because the idea is if you have sex with men, you must be gay. Well, no, not always. Some guys have sex with men, particularly men in jail have sex with men in jail, and it's not homosexual. And they don't go on to be homosexual afterwards when they get out of jail. It's not like that. So it just opens up the discussion. It's interesting, but it's also kind of disturbing, because I'm like, are you talking about something while not acknowledging something even worse as part of it? Like, how do you talk about having sex with men if you were an abuser or a rapist? And how do you then talk about that or part of that in a positive way? It's like, maybe I've got my wires crossed, and but I'm like, is no one calling this out? Like, is no one talking about that part of it, or have I gotten my Charlies mixed up, or do people just not believe or acknowledge Corey Haim or Corey Feldman from what they've said in the past? 'Cause I think they've both said it at some point, but I need to go and do some research. But I just want to talk about this for a minute, see what other people think. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I feel like I have a little hair or something on my the whole time I've been talking, it's been tickling me. But yeah, it's just yeah. And why is he talking about it now? Is it because he's old and his career's over and he's not worried about it damaging his career? Because that's the other thing. Why is he talking about it now? Like, why is it okay now? Yes, times have changed, but also this was the kind of thing that would, in theory, end a man's career. So they wouldn't talk about something like this unless they already were a star or they had finished their career, and he sort of has. So yeah, it's all sort of curious and interesting. But I'm going to go do a bit more research, because this was just a reaction in the moment. I'm talking as I'm thinking, and thinking as I'm talking and going, I need to look at this more. But allegedly, supposedly, rumours, what I heard, no accusations or implications that I actually know of anything for a fact. So please don't sue me, Charlie Sheen. Have a nice day.